If a dictionary put pictures next to words, there'd be a collage of Teresa Earnhardt next to the word greed. Well, until she sued the dictionary company, that is. She's been such a nuisance to the Earnhardt family that you can make an actual soap opera out of it. Bring up the name Teresa around a NASCAR race or track, and you get a range of responses from annoyance to sometimes outright hatred from fans. Looking for a NASCAR fan who likes her is about as futile as looking for a living T-Rex. It'd be a sight to see, but we all know it's a waste of time to look. So, for those of you who don't know, or might be a little out of the loop, here's why this is. The story of why she's one of the most hated people in NASCAR history. Teresa Houston married Dale Earnhardt in 1982. She was his third and final wife. Dale Sr. already had 3 children, Carrie, Kelly, and Dale Jr. And in 1988, Dale and Teresa welcomed their daughter Taylor into the world. This also happened to be when Dale Sr.'s career started to skyrocket and he won 7 Winston Cup championships. Soon after this, Dale's children started their racing career, especially his youngest son, Dale Jr. Sr. had co-founded the team Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, or DEI, in 1980 with Teresa. Mostly a part-time Busch Series effort from 1984 on, the team went full-time in 95. Dale Jr. would be moved up to the Busch Series team in 1997 for a part-time run, before going full-time for 2 seasons in 1998 and 99. It led to 2 Busch Series championships in a row as well as 13 wins. Coinciding with this was that DEI was building as a Winston Cup organization as well. Earnhardt was building a racing empire with friends and family for the future of his friends and family. As by the turn of the millennium, DEI had established Steve Park in the 1 car and Dale Jr. in the historically Earnhardt 8 car. Heading into 2001, it was a dream come true for Dale Sr., running the company with his wife and building it to eventually pass down to his children. The trajectory of the team, though, would change forever on February 18th, 2001.
After the accident in Turn 4 at the end of the Daytona 500, we've lost Dale Earnhardt.
The tragedy of Earnhardt's death was felt throughout the sport, but nowhere did it hit harder than DEI. Teresa would take over for Earnhardt in his absence, and over the following few years, many fans didn't know what was brewing under the surface, as Dale Earnhardt Jr. was becoming one of NASCAR's elites. After signing another contract to stay with DEI, the relationship between Teresa and Dale Jr. began to publicly spiral downwards. By 2006, it was fracturing further, as Dale Jr. and sister Kelly began contract renegotiations with their stepmother. By December of 2006, Teresa was one of the most disliked people in the sport. Why? Well, she picked a fight with NASCAR's most popular driver. One of the fights that Teresa and Dale Jr. had was over who owned the legal rights to Jr.'s name. At the point in time, it was Teresa. Jr., obviously upset by this, spoke further in an interview with the Charlotte Observer, saying, "If I didn't have the same name, and I kinda wish I didn't sometimes, I wouldn't have to worry about it." After Teresa publicly criticized Jr. in December of 2006, calling him immature and not wanting to focus on being a driver and more of a rock star, it drove Jr. to go public with his stepmother and their relationship, saying that the relationship, quote, ain't a bed of roses. Earnhardt Jr. and sister Kelly entered negotiations wanting a majority ownership stake in DEI, just as their father had wanted. Teresa refused, leading to the most shocking news of the season.
It's progressed. I've told you all season long that when we have something to announce that we would announce it, so we're calling this press conference here today to announce that after a year of intense negotiations and intense effort on behalf of Dale Earnhardt Incorporated and JR Motorsports, that we decide that it's time for us to move on and seek other opportunities to drive for a new team in 2008.
The announcement was a gut punch to the NASCAR fandom and to DEI. To compound this, from this point on that Jr. announced that he wouldn't be racing for DEI, and when he announced that he was racing next year in 2008 for Hendrick Motorsports, he would repeatedly have engine failures, which completely derailed his 2007 campaign and raised questions about what was going on behind the scenes. Before announcing that he'd drive the 88 car in 2008, a campaign was launched by friend and fan Ricky Rackman, Teresa Free the 8. Fans rallied to this call, only for Teresa to double down and keep the number, giving it instead the following year to both Mark Martin and Eric Almirola. A DEI-owned 8-car would never race full-time in Cup again. This really is the point where the story goes from a sad one to a downright disgusting greed-filled death spiral with no end. DEI, Dale Earnhardt's legacy, would be no more by 2009, not even 10 years after his tragic death. In its place would be a merger with Chip Ganassi and a team called Earnhardt-Ganassi Racing. Earnhardt was only there by name, as the occurrence of Teresa showing up to a goddamn race was as often as Halley's Comet. The only remnants of a great team being the font styling of the one car. By the start of the 2014 season, all of her affiliation with the team was gone. Why? Well, Teresa disappeared and the Earnhardt portion of the name left with her. By the way, how's Dale Jr. doing again?
Third generation star Dale Earnhardt Jr. brings him to the flag. Checkered flag waving. It's over. It's Earnhardt.
Nice. So, where'd Teresa go? Well, to start a lawsuit with Kerry, of course. Since DEI turned into a museum, there needed to be a new way to keep the drama going. Kerry and his wife had started a company called the Earnhardt Collection, with Kerry building homes for people. Innocent enough, but not for Teresa, as she immediately slapped a lawsuit on the company. Why? It used the Earnhardt name, and apparently it didn't fit Dale's legacy. Forget that it's Kerry's name from birth. Money has been made without Teresa knowing, and action must be done. This has went on for 3 years now and still ongoing. Along with this, there's another few gems to the story. For instance, the Budweiser ad that paid tribute to Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s career. Look closely at it. If you notice something different about the 8 car, it's that the 8s aren't there when they should be. On the side of the car, they're gone or blotched out. Yeah, it's because Teresa Earnhardt would have sued them. So, there's another gem. One other, though, is that the story that recently came out about the minor league baseball team named after Dale Earnhardt called the Kannapolis Intimidators. New owners announced that they were changing the name. Why? Well, they give a few reasons. They skirted around the fact that they don't own the name. Who owns the name? The mythical lawsuit fairy herself. Most saw this once again as a tarnishing of Dale Earnhardt's legacy. By the way, since he's not owning DEI, how's Dale Jr. doing as a team owner right now? Oh, I gotta say, this whole thing, it's terrible. I don't think any family should have to have this much public drama, especially seeing how it seems like all of it started after losing the leader of the family. I feel bad for Dale Jr., I feel bad for Kelly and Kerry, I feel bad for the fans having to deal with it, and I really feel bad for someone who's forgotten, I think, in a lot of this, Taylor. I mean, think of what she has to go through. Her older brothers and sister are constantly having to have these legal battles with her mother. It's got to be a terrible situation for her. It's a terrible situation, and hopefully somebody can get into Teresa's ear and end this stuff. Start the healing process fully. What do you guys think? Let me know down below, and until next time, have a good one.